The chicken seems too ordinary, so ordinary that they stop noticing her at all. Well, chicken and chicken, pecking at the ground, digging through the trash. He runs without much pathos. But here's the reality. Chicken in nature is not a background. It is a living machine that cleans out insects, turns over the litter, drives seeds across the surface, and turns all this into fuel for the soil and predators. Remove such birds, and the forest floor, the edges of thickets, and even small animals underfoot will begin to live differently. I'll spread it out now. 10 functions, 1 underestimated effect, and 10 facts, after which the chicken will no longer seem just a chicken. The red jungle hen is a terrestrial, omnivorous, very active bird in feeding. It eats seeds, grains, green parts of plants, worms, insects, and other invertebrates. She often gets food in a proprietary way: scratch and peck, raked with her paws, pecked, checked, and moved on. And half of its ecology is hidden in this simple movement, because the chicken does not influence nature by force, but by constantly poking at the world. Go. 10 functions of a chicken in nature. 1. Control of insects and other invertebrates. Chicken is not a default grain eater. The red jungle hen eats a lot of invertebrates: worms, insects, spiders, and other small things. Insects are especially important for young animals, but adults also actively collect them. This means a simple thing. The chicken works as a terrestrial regulator of small fauna, not like a swallow in the air, not like a thrush in the foliage, and as infantry on the ground. 2. Rapid disposal of insect outbreaks. There is a prey that the chicken especially loves. For example, termites and ants. In field studies, they were regularly found in the red jungle hen, and researchers counted almost 1,000 termites in one crop. That is, the chicken doesn't just eat insects. She knows how to quickly connect to local feasts when small prey appears en masse. 3. Turning over the leaf litter. When a chicken rakes the ground, it's not just looking for food. She constantly stirs the leaf layer, small debris, and dry plant remains. This is how the red jungle hen gets a significant portion of its food, by tearing through the litter and loose topsoil. This is an important effect. The litter stops lying like a dead carpet. She starts to move. 4. Small bioturbation, loosening and aeration of the upper layer. The boar plows roughly. The chicken works thinner. Its constant scratching and digging is a minor bioturbation. That is, the mechanical mixing of the upper layer of the environment by a living organism. For a bird, it's just a search for food, and for an ecosystem, it's a loosening of the surface and a change in the microenvironment. The same behavior underlies the use of chickens as assistants for natural pest control and work with the soil surface in agricultural systems. 5. Participation in the nutrient cycle through droppings. What the chicken has eaten is quickly returned to the system. Bird droppings are a real channel for the return of nitrogen, phosphorus, and other elements to the soil. In agricultural research, the application of chicken manure consistently increases the availability of nutrients and improves soil properties. In nature, the logic is the same, only not in bags and not in the field, but locally and constantly. 6. Influence on the fate of seeds on Earth. The red jungle hen eats grains, seeds, fallen fruits, and green plant parts. This means that it is involved in which seeds will survive to germinate and which will be eaten. This is no longer just a bird's diet, but an effect on the composition of future vegetation. Here it is, an honest ecological interpretation of the diet, and not a separate loud myth. Simply put, chicken helps nature decide what will rise and what will remain someone's dinner. 7. Transfer of energy. From the ground to larger production, the chicken collects energy from seeds, shoots, insects, and small invertebrates. And then it becomes prey for predators, either an adult bird or eggs and chicks. In the red jungle hen, the natural loss of nests and broods from predators is well documented. In other words, a chicken is not just a consumer, it is also the packaging of energy for the next level of the food network. 8. feeding ground for predators and nest robbers. The red jungle hen's nests and young are plagued by predators. Studies have mentioned rodents, reptiles, and some birds among nest robbers. It's tough, but it's normal for the ecosystem. The chicken feeds not only those whom you see during the day, but also the hidden players of the system. 9. Maintaining the working condition of the edges of the forest in disturbed areas. The red jungle hen is especially fond of the edges, disturbed areas, secondary thickets, and the edges of the forest. This is not a forest aristocracy of the deep, but a specialist in transition zones. And such zones are very important. There are a lot of seeds, a lot of insects, a lot of life movement, and the chicken is one of the permanent workers of these places. 10. An indicator of the condition of the ground undergrowth and shelters. The red jungle hen depends on a combination of feeding grounds and shelters and spends the night in trees. Its distribution is related to the quality of the edge of the forest, shrubs, old trees, and safe places to spend the night. Therefore, it is possible to judge from it how much the mosaic earth plus shelter plus tree is still alive. If such a bird disappears, it often means that the site has become too empty, too disturbing, or too monotonous. One unexpected effect that is often overlooked. The most underestimated effect of chicken is this. The chicken doesn't just eat, it constantly reshapes the surface of the earth, not like a tractor, like a small, stubborn, lively brush. Each pawing simultaneously searches for insects, moves the litter, changes the fate of the seeds, and prepares a place where microbes and moisture will work differently later. This follows from its actual feeding method and from how the chicken's presence affects the soil surface and the nutrient cycle. That is, a chicken is not a bird about eggs. This is a small ground environment editor. 10 unusual facts about chicken. 1. The domestic chicken originated mainly from the red jungle chicken. This is not a story from a school textbook, but the conclusion of genetic and archaeological research. At the same time, domestic chickens have impurities from other types of jungle hens. 2. Chicken is not a dumb grain beak. The wild form has a wide diet: seeds, grains, shoots, insects, worms, and invertebrates. That is, it is a real omnivorous land collector. 3. Termites are almost a delicacy for them. In fieldwork, termites and ants were especially often found in the red jungle hen, and sometimes in huge numbers. 4. Branded scratching is not chaos, but mining technology. Scratch and peck is a basic feeding tool. First the paws, then the beak. This is how the bird discovers hidden food in the litter. 5. They don't like dust baths for fun. Dust baths help to remove excess fat from the feathers and maintain their condition. For wild and domestic chickens, this is a normal, important behavior. 6. They are very social birds. Chickens and their wild ancestor have complex social behaviors. The red jungle hen has well-studied stable groups and social cues. 7. They really have different alarms. Fowl describes different alarms for air and ground threats. This is not one shout for everything. 8. They usually spend the night in trees. The red jungle hen usually roosts in the trees, often using the same places for a long time until they are disturbed. 9. Chicken tastes better than we thought for a long time. Chickens have a well-developed taste system. Modern research shows that birds are not as taste poor as previously thought. At the same time, chickens lack one of the typical mammalian sweet taste receptors. 10. The main strength of a chicken is not speed or flight and constancy. It does not make one powerful blow to the ecosystem. She makes thousands of small ones. And it is from them that its real role is formed. Food, litter, soil, droppings, predators, seeds. This is already a conclusion from its entire proven ecology. Conclusion: chicken is not just a household platitude. If you really look at it, it is a terrestrial, omnivorous regulator that it controls small invertebrates, rakes the litter, moves the top layer of the environment, returns nutrients to the soil, and feeds predators through itself and its offspring. Remove such a bird, And the world under your feet will become different. Quiet, poorer in movement, and worse, mixed. If it was useful, subscribe. Here we analyze the animals so that it becomes clear who really keeps nature in working order. And write in the comments. What surprised me the most was that a chicken can eat almost 1,000 termites in one go. Or is it that her main strength is the constant editing of the ground under her feet?